Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, on the board behind me, what you see is how to sell a note. We're talking about owner financing, seller financing today, and the creation of notes and selling notes, right? Because the way you create your note on the front end and how you structure it has a direct relationship to how fast you can sell on the back end and how much you can get for that note. And we'll dig into this here because it's important to understand. So the two psychologies of owner finance investors are this: create a note and hold it long-term for passive income or residual income, or create a note and sell that note and flip that note, similar to how we buy a house and fix it up and sell it and flipping a retail fix and flip. So how do we ensure that we have the best outcome? I want to leave you with two results, guys. I want to leave you with these results right here. Number one, selling a note for top dollar and avoid having to discount it more and more off face value to get your money out. And number two, sell it quicker so you can avoid that long traditional seasoning requirement period, which, man, holds people up from turning their money over quicker. And the faster you can turn your money over, the more times you can cookie cutter it, in and out, rinse and repeat, the more money you're gonna make and the better lifestyle for you and your family. So that's what I wanna do, guys. I wanna show you how to structure your notes on the front end so you can get a higher price on the back end and avoid that seasoning requirement. Now, let's look at this here real quick and look at how a note is created. So say I have a house that I wanna sell to you, and you're willing to buy my house for $100,000, $10,000 down at 9.75% interest for 15 years. So when I go to sell you this house, I'm gonna take $10,000 down and finance $90,000 to you for 15 years. We're gonna create a promissory note and deed of trust. Now, what if I need to get my money out and I can't leave my money in that deal long term? Because I thought I could for some reason, but now I can't. I can take that promissory note, which is your debt to me, that I owe you, and I can say I have this note for $90,000. I can sell this note to someone else, and they're gonna buy that note, and I'm gonna get my money out of it. But can I sell that note for $90,000 to someone? Very, very unlikely. They're gonna require me to discount that note off face value, from $90,000 down to $80,000, down to $50,000, $60,000, whatever agreement you can have with that note buyer. So this is what we're talking about today. How do we get the highest price when we sell that note? So we have to structure it in a way to make that note enticing enough for a note buyer to say, I want to pay you more for it before someone else comes and buys it. So we want to season that note for a lesser time period, but still get the same amount for it. So if I have this note that I created with you, and someone wants to buy it, they may say, hey, I'll require you to season it. So what does the seasoning mean? So when I create it, every month that goes by, you're gonna have to pay me as you pay down that note. And if I have you make a payment 3 months in a row, 6 months in a row, 9 months in a row, 12 months in a row, every payment that you make, you become less risky, or that note becomes less risky for that back-end note buyer. This is very important to understand. The less risk they feel that they have, the higher they're gonna pay you for that note. But I wanna sell these notes at the closing table or right after closing for pretty close to what I can sell it for 6 months down the road. Because if I can get pretty close to the same price, but sell it here and avoid 6 months, how many times can I turn that note over or create a new note and sell a new note, and how much more money can I make? And the answer is a lot. So let's talk about that in today's video. Before we dig in, guys, I had something else that I wanted to go over. Man, I can't believe I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a gigantic red button down there, guys. It says subscribe. If you haven't already done so, please do so. Hit that button. It's gonna help us out here on this channel. If we're gonna help you by filming these videos, the least you can do is subscribe to the channel, right? And a lot of you keep emailing us asking about how to get notified as the videos come out. There's a yellow notification symbol down there somewhere. If you can't figure out where it is, just go to YouTube and type in how to find the notification symbol on YouTube videos so that you're notified. This will solve the problem, and as we put out videos, you'll get a quick email notification. Also, guys, check your promotions and your other tabs out there in your email box, because sometimes it could be going to spam or elsewhere. Now, let's address one more thing before we dig in. You're going to be seeing a lot more videos coming out. I promise you, I'm not going to stop, but I know y'all been saying I've been putting out less videos, and there's a severe time demand on the back end. It's hard for y'all to see what I'm dealing with on the back end, but you're gonna be hearing more and more about eXp Realty as our channel goes on, and as you see more about what we're doing around the country. This is gonna come out quite a bit more. And so the reason why I haven't been putting out so many videos lately is because our team is absolutely exploding. It seems like every week we go into a different state. So I've been traveling all around the country. I've literally been in my bed less nights this year than I've been abroad, staying in a hotel or an Airbnb. So guys, if you just be a little patient with me, I will get these videos out. But out of all the businesses that I run, eXp is the main focus we have right now. I think it's the single greatest opportunity any real estate professional's ever had. And it's because we've just completely changed the way the business is being done. Let's touch on this here real quick, and then we'll go into the video because I'm getting so many questions about this, and you have the direct opportunity to work with me and to build a team alongside me with this right now. So the reason why this is so attractive for so many agents right now, even investors are willing to go get their license, is because of this. Everything or every brokerage has been traditionally run on a franchise brick and mortar model. And they've also been run on a traditional commission-based income stream. You sell a house, you get a commission. That's transactional, that's active income. But eXp has come out of nowhere and created a 3 income stream model, and it's agent-owned, agent-centric instead of franchise-owned and franchise focus, right? So the franchise owner is no longer the focus. The agent is the focus. That's why people like this company. Now, not only can you have your commission-based income stream, you have your ownership of the company through stock options. There's 6 different ways stock can either be purchased or given to you through the company. That is why you hear we're the agent-owned company. And we're also technology-driven, just as you've seen with Uber, Facebook, Netflix, Airbnb, guys. Everything is going towards the elimination of inventory and brick and mortar models, and that's what eXp has done for the brokerage side of the business. We are cloud-based technology, so we're agent-owned, cloud-based, and we're changing the way agents are being compensated with our revenue share model. So now we can build a team as if we were a broker without having to be a broker and have the liability of being a broker across state lines, and we're no longer geographically restricted because eXp has changed the way the broker-agent relationship has worked to a broker-sponsor-agent relationship. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this, guys, but this is the main reason why I've been putting out less videos. So bear with me. I'm going to continue on, but our team's exploding, and if you want to explode your market and work with us, it's very important to be on a team that knows how to do this, and I can help you do this. So contact us at info.investorarmy@gmail.com or find me on Facebook. Now that that's addressed, because people have been asking why we're not putting out so many videos, that's the reason why, because we're building these teams all across the country. So if you're in a market and you haven't heard of it, contact me. We'll sit down on Skype and I'll show you what we're doing and how you can work with us. Now, let's dig in to how to create a note the right way. Number 1, down payment. This is very, very important to understand. The larger the down payment you get, the more you're going to get for that note because it's less risky. So for example, if I had a $100,000 house and I took a $1,000 down payment, and that borrower gets into a situation where they can't make the payments, or they can, but they don't want to, how much are they walking away from as compared to if they put $20,000 down? Someone who puts $1,000 down versus someone who puts $20,000 down, who's more likely to skip out and walk off on that property and take that note from performing to non-performing? So the more money you get down, the more appealing that note is to note buyer on the back end. For example, we just sold a house for $65,000, we got $25,000 down. If I go to sell that note, that's gonna be a lot more attractive to the note buyer than someone who put only $500 down or $5,000 down, because they're less likely to walk away from $25,000 than they are from a few thousand, if that makes sense. So the first thing you guys need to do is don't just throw someone in the property because they have $1,000 down, which a lot of people do, because I know you want to take the first buyer because you want to get that burden off. You want to stop making payments on those carrying costs. You want to get it up and stabilized. Get a big down payment if you want to sell that note. It's going to show that that note's less risky. Number 2, interest rate. Now, this isn't going to be something that needs a lot of explaining. The higher the interest rate, the better, right? So you want to get a higher interest rate, but make sure you look into your state's usury laws, find out what you can sell the notes for, because you don't want to break that. Traditionally, most people are selling their notes in my market between 9 and 10.5%. Your market may be a little different. Ask around your REI club and find out. Now, this is very important, these last 2 guys. This is what's going to really help you sell your note for a higher dollar amount. So an RMLO. Now, I won't go too deep into Dodd-Frank, but you have to understand that when we sell a house on owner financing, because of the last crash, there's a bill that came out called Dodd-Frank. We aren't going to get into it, but we're required to use an RMLO. Now, that stands for Residential Mortgage Loan Originator. So what we're going to do when we find a buyer is we're going to send them to the RMLO, and they're going to qualify them. They're going to look at their income, and they're going to basically say, yes, this person can afford the property. This is a protection measure for you, the investor, because if you run someone through the RMLO and they're qualified and they don't make the payments later, they cannot come back to you and say you are a predator and you made me a predatory loan and I'm coming back after you. So do this because this is going to protect you. Now, when you use an RMLO, if it was going to protect you, it's going to protect the back-end note buyer as well, because he knows it was done right. So if you use an RMLO, when you do this, make sure that that buyer pays for those RMLO fees. So this shouldn't even cost you anything. And after you create this and sell it on the back end, we want to use a loan servicing company. Now, loan servicing company is going to come in and service those loans. That's exactly what it sounds like, and it's exactly what they do. So that borrower who buying the house from you, instead of paying you the monthly payment directly, they're going to pay that loan servicing company. They're going to escrow everything, right? Just as you would with a normal bank loan. Now, this takes you out of the process. Now you have multiple third parties in the mix. It's going to help you create and sell a note for a lot higher amount, because that note buyer is going to say, this person did it right, I can pay them more for it. So if you have a bigger down payment, a higher interest rate, you use an RMLO, and you use a loan servicing company, and you have the buyer pay for the RMLO and the back-end loan servicing fees, guys, so it's not even any out of your pocket. You've created a note that's more desirable, and it's going to be more easily sold to someone at a higher price. And a lot of times, if you do this right and you take enough down, these note buyers will buy the note at closing. Now, traditionally, someone who buys a note at closing is going to have to get a bigger discount off face value than they would 6 months down the road. So in the next video that I'm putting out, guys, here in a day or so, I'm going to show you a few different places to find these note buyers where you're going to get better price for that note, and I hope that's going to help. So if you have any questions about creating a note, guys, or selling a note, send them into info.investorarmy@gmail.com, and we're going to put these videos out here for you guys. I want you to win this year in 2018. If you haven't already done so, you know I'm going to say, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.